Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Continue Change. Today we have a wonderful guest, Monica, who is with an organization that has one of my favorite names, I think, ever for a nonprofit. Monica, who are you and where do you hail from?
I am Monica Rooser, and I work at Love Inc. in Hudsonville, Michigan. So it stands for Love in the Name of Christ. A lot of people don't know that, but I am their communication and marketing coordinator for almost a year now. And I hail from Hope College as well.
Woo!
So go Dutchman.
Go Dutchman.
And yeah, so I graduated Hope in 2019, and I'm just diving into the nonprofit world. And working in a place that I love with people that are amazing. So
I love it. How did you even find yourself in this role? How did you jump from school right into this space?
yes, I was lucky enough to work with Dr. Virgil Golker, who is the founder of Love Inc. at Hope. So
Mm-hmm.
through the Center for Leadership. And that was just a really cool connection. We worked on a project there together. And I interned with Love Inc. because he mentioned it to me. And so through my internship in 2018 with Love Inc., they wanted to bring me back then when the timing was right after I graduated. So I'm just beyond blessed to be here. And it's kind of crazy that I interned, I did my own thing for a little bit, and then I came back on staff. So
That's awesome. Proof to any of our college listeners that internships are fundamentally important, especially in the nonprofit space. So,
yeah, we've hired 2 other interns here as well. So it's
see,
incredible. Yeah, they're very
everybody,
important.
if you're listening, go get an internship if you don't have one. So, what is it that you guys do, and how exactly does it work? I know you have like a relational model. Unpack that a little bit.
Yes. So the basis of Love Inc. is to partner with the local church to transform lives in the name of Christ. That's kind of our mission statement right there. But the essential part, I think, and where we are headed is to that key with partnering with the local church
Mm-hmm.
to just bring hope to people in our communities that might not be able to find it anywhere else. And so the relational part comes into that through basically our relational ministry, which is a big part of what we do is our life skills program. So that is it's housed in 3 local churches in the Hudsonville, Jenison, and Granville areas that the churches run it. They get their own volunteers, they get their own teachers, and we essentially just provide the participants, people who come to us seeking support, seeking community, hope, empowerment, whatever they need. And they come into this program then, and a church will surround them. And we have social workers on staff here who work really closely with the churches and are able to provide them with the resources they need, kind of on a different wavelength from our social work side of that. We also have a lot of church collaboration, church trainings that we like to help provide pastors and outreach directors with resources that they can better connect their communities and move into their neighborhoods.
So you're almost like the hub, and then you've got these partners that you're integrated with. You're trying to empower them, you're trying to feed them. It's a very close collaboration. This is similar to the way that a lot of nonprofits that are trying to affect changes in their community work. What are some of the challenges when it comes to working with so many different churches and people, and how do relationships mitigate those challenges?
Yes, so it's very hard to work, I think, with any nonprofit. When you put a bunch in a room, it's really challenging. And I think a big part of that is so many of us are wearing so many different hats. And so our volunteer coordinator type person is also the one who does all of the church trainings. And that's a lot. And those are very different things. So I think that
Right, that's 2 different jobs, but one person,
one
right?
person, yes,
Yeah.
2 jobs, one person. She's amazing. But I think we see that more often than not in churches, in nonprofits. So Honestly, I think it's helpful that we can do that all together because we understand each other in that way, but also it's just challenging to get people involved, to get people to engage, to get people to latch on to what we're dreaming. And I think that through relationships and building that trust and that sense of security and just honestly like the dignity and wanting to hear each other's voices and ideas behind that is really the central part of working together and collaborating.
It's harder to, I feel like that word collaborate has gotten thrown around so much in the last decade, but it really does have so much meaning. It's harder to do though, right? Because you have to actually listen to all those voices, so they might not all agree.
Right. Yes, listening is key. And that's not easy, especially today. I think we have so many things in our heads that listening is hard, but it's essential.
Is there a time, Monica, that you can share an example of when perhaps through email or through text messages or whatever it might be, electronic communication just was kind of not moving things along, and then you got those people in an actual physical room, and all of a sudden the relationships helped move the mission along faster?
Absolutely. This spring, just before everything with COVID kind of went crazy, we started doing a church training that was focused on what to do with walk-ins. So when someone in your community walks into your church, how can you help them? How can you partner with Love Inc. to help them? And that's something that we've done that's since the beginning, is help the people who walk into churches in whatever way they need. But I think a lot of the community was struggling with that, and there's only so much you can do via email, text message, phone call. So we got, I think, about 30 churches into a room back in maybe January or February, and we just talked and listened to each other, and they were able to understand, okay, this church is doing that. That's really cool. Maybe we can do something similar. And just the way that they were able to collaborate in every sense of the word in that room, I think really helped. And since then, talking to some of the pastors that were there, that's what they were craving out of just being the church. It's not being in your building with your staff, but being the whole church in the community. And I think a lot of them got that out of it. So that was incredible to see.
Which totally applies to, organizations, even if they're not faith-based, this challenge of sharing a vision and working through problems. Sometimes it doesn't go as fast through email. And I feels like you guys just kind of got into the room and just sparks started flying and magic started happening just because you could actually see each other's faces.
Totally. Yes, absolutely. And similarly, during kind of when we jumped into the pandemic, the first week, we wanted to bring churches together. And so we hopped on a Zoom call, and 30 plus churches showed up to that too. And then for the next X amount of months, they kept coming, and they kept talking to each other and listening to each other. And that was just really, really good to see.
Wow. So so you mentioned COVID. We can't talk about anything these days without talking about COVID, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what the COVID Chronicles have been like for you as an organization. Have you shifted from relationship-based to more transactional? And if so, what does that look like?
Yes, we definitely did. Seemingly overnight, I think, honestly, we went from all I just talked about of being focused on relationship and collaboration and all of that to now we are emergency food distribution for the community. And I believe it all started when a local pastor walked into our office right when everything was starting to shut down and said, we need to do something. How can I help? And so it was kind of Love Inc. facilitating that, but it was the community really putting their feet on the ground and doing it. So 3 local churches were supplying food distribution. I think every day of the week, one of them was covering it. And
Wow.
the Love Inc. staff then, all our social workers, our executive director, our call center coordinator, we were out shopping at Meijer every single day. Literally every single day, shopping
That
for
wasn't
food.
part of the job description originally, probably, was
It was not, no. No, but everyone just shifted in an incredible way to this is the need that we have now in the community, and there are thousands of people who cannot get the food they need right now. So we need to be the hands and feet of Jesus and go and do this. That's how
Yeah.
we saw it. So,
Wow. So you
yeah,
got out your shopping carts.
yes, like 500 cans of green beans every trip. It was crazy. We got a workout
Wow.
in.
Wow.
But we were there.
So as you've had to move to provide for that need and focus probably a little bit more on like logistics and transactional emails and back and forth,
Mhm.
do you feel like that's shifted your connection with the people that you're partnering with, or does it really work out okay because you had those relationships formed so deeply beforehand?
Yeah, I would say it's working out. Being in relationship with so many cool organizations, local businesses, just all the partners we had, then shifting into that transaction, they were all more than willing to help. They were all more than willing to show up and donate different things. Businesses donating toilet paper to the distribution sites, different things like that, that really, I think just brought us great joy to say we were able to have this relational base to then move us into a transactional type of ministry in a way that still brought dignity to the people we were serving. I think which was the biggest part for us.
Right. Sometimes you just need to like get stuff done, and even if it's transactional in nature, it still is critical. What all have you done to stay organized with all of that? So you moved into this like emergency food distribution. Did your head explode with all the information? Did you have it in an Excel file?
There was a lot of information. I didn't create an Excel file, but I had a lot of sticky notes. That's kind of how my brain works. But it was a lot to change into, okay, I'm working remotely now. So I have to communicate with my team from home, which was very challenging. And getting over that hurdle, then communicating internally with our Love Inc. volunteers who were all also sent home because we couldn't be on campus.
Right.
And that's over
Right.
800 people.
Wow.
Some of which don't have email. So that was.
They don't have email. What?
Some of them, yeah.
Oh.
So a lot
We
of folks.
forget that sometimes as millennials, don't we, Monica? That
Yes,
people
we
don't
do.
all communicate the same way.
No, I've learned that a lot here, which is, it's fun, it's good. But so that community, and then externally contacting donors, contacting the people who might need the support that we're handing out, the people who want to help, just all of these different audiences. I had to, not just me, my whole team, we had to manage this and somehow shift from the normal communication we do on day to day to, okay, these things are all extremely important, and we're learning from so many other organizations what we should tell people, and now we have to successfully do that. So our executive director would meet every day with many other directors of local organizations and businesses, and she would come back with information and say, okay, now share this. So we were on our toes sharing it. But
so you guys kind of formed, it sounds like almost like a coalition, temporarily at least, to help with the short-term emergency needs.
Absolutely. Yep, we did. We banded together and got it done.
That's awesome. And do you see, I know this is not a marketing question per se, but do you see that need declining, or do you see it growing again? Is it getting better out there, or is it just as hard as it's ever been for people that need food?
I think it's getting better. I know it's getting better in the sense that we closed our food distribution in early May.
Oh, wow.
So we were doing that from March to May because the churches were just seeing a lot of the same people coming through. So at that point, what we thought would be the best move, and I believe has proved correct, is to move back to that relational step of we're seeing these same people. Let's get to know them. Why are they coming back here? Do they want the community? Do they need the food? How can we support them in a more holistic way?
So you had an influx of new contacts, individuals that maybe you hadn't spoken to previously.
Right.
And now that you've met that short-term need, you're transitioning back to a relationship.
Yes, that's exactly what we did. So already 3 months ago, I can't believe it's August, but we then created a whole new set of communication to say, hey, we're done distributing weekly, but we would love to have a relationship with you. How can we support you? These are your options. Just gave them information to hopefully connect with them. And that could have looked like the church connecting with them personally. It could have looked like them calling our call center here at Love Inc. And I think all of the above has taken place, and relationships have been formed through that. So
that's excellent. That's excellent news. Do you feel like that transition happened smoother than perhaps you might have imagined? Like if I'm a nonprofit and I'm in a similar situation where I've got a bunch of new contacts, will I be encouraged, do you think, by the conversion rate, if you will, to long-term relationships?
I think it was a bit more challenging than we expected, and it's probably not as fruitful as we would have hoped. But I think that that's kind of how the world is going right now. We did what we thought was right in the time, and I still think that we are an organization that was made for relationship and relational ministry in that way. So we weren't 100% thriving in this transactional mode because it's just not
who you were meant to be.
Exactly. And so moving then back into relationship, the transaction, the convenience of that, I think lost us some of the regular people who were using those services. But I guess we couldn't provide what they needed essentially, but
they didn't necessarily fit the other model perhaps, or crave the relationship side of things as much.
Right. Yeah.
Could be. So interesting. So from one side of the pendulum, you've swung and then back, and now do you think this is the final swing? Will you guys stay relationship focused moving forward?
I hope so. I think that all of us are kind of ready at this point. Who knows what will happen in the next coming months? If things do shut down again, we are pretty prepared to move back into that transaction mode of, okay, if we have to shut down our stores, we have e-commerce now on our website where we can still sell things to bring money into the ministry. And we're more prepared with the relationships and how to go about making that huge pivot. And so I think that if worse comes to worse and we have to do that, we're ready. But I think we're all praying that we don't have to.
You're stocked up on like toilet paper though, and you're ready to go.
Ready to go.
Right?
Yes, we are. We got it all.
So did you deploy an e-commerce site over the course of this as well, or was that already up and running?
No, it's not up yet. It's not even there yet. But it's something that the idea sparked from, we have 2 resale shops on our campus. And
Yeah.
during the quarantine, they couldn't be open. We couldn't sell any of the goods that we sell. And that's 50% of the income for Love Inc. is from these shops. So we were down
Wow.
automatically overnight 50% of our revenue to serve the community. So this time we said, okay, if we can get things online, people can hopefully, then we could do like a curbside pickup or something if
Mm-hmm.
that's the case. So it's something that's in the process of being built and hopefully will be launched in the next few weeks. But
That's awesome.
yeah,
Well, congratulations. You'll have more transactions online, but hopefully more relationships as well, right?
exactly. Yeah, we hope so.
I think I'm hearing from you kind of a challenge, which is to move beyond transactional ways of serving the communities that we're in, and to also embrace relationships, but to also perhaps realize that sometimes one is needed while the other is less needed, and ultimately probably both play a role. So I lean towards the relationship side as well, so I certainly relate to you on that.
Yeah. I think relationships are so important. And when you have that trust and just dignity and ability to build off of, there's going to be a lot more that comes from it rather than just, okay, here's this, I'll take that from you. It's, we're going both ways. This is working. And I'm going to see you for who you are, and you see me for who I am. And I think that's the most important.
I like to think of it as conversational marketing and communication, in that you're never just trying to get out of it something that's good for you, but you're always truly trying to understand what's best and what's necessary for these individuals that you're serving.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. I like that. Conversational communication.
Bam, coined right here on the Continue Change podcast. Monica, Tim have a trademark. Sorry, everybody else. Already locked down.
There
So, Monica, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's like a crazy time of the year for you guys as you swing back into the fall. I want to invite you to give us just one shameless plug. Where can we go online? What should we do? How can we help?
Yes, how can you help? Well, I only get one shameless.
You get as many as you want.
Okay, well, we have 2 resale shops in Hudsonville that have incredible things that are open from 10 to 3 on Monday through Saturday. And so if you're ever looking for a good thrift shop, hit us up.
And you have no excuse if you don't live in the area, because it's all online soon, right?
Right. loveinthenameofchrist.org. That was going to be my next plug, is if you would like to support a great organization that I'm biased about, but we are always looking for the support. And we have a fundraising event coming up in September. So check out our website.
Yay. That's awesome. And is that fundraising event, what is that? Is that like a dinner, a Zoom, a what?
So it's a week-long, actually, fundraising event. I can't really take the credit for it, but it's videos. So it could be free for you if you want just to watch the videos about what our ministry is and does and everything. But on the Tuesday of that week, it's September 21st, I believe, there's going to be 3 food trucks at the churches that we have our life skills program at, and you can purchase food from one of the trucks.
That's very smart. And also a little bit of inspiration for anyone that's wondering how to do some in-person events. Food trucks, great idea. Outside, social distancing, but I still get to eat. I love it.
You get to eat, and then you can be like a backyard host is one of the things we have. So you can watch the videos with your friends and family outside in your yard.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
I'm excited. I think it'll be really fun. And just a way to bring people together safely.
I love that. Backyard. And do I get a food truck in my backyard too?
No.
Okay.
But you get to go pick up food from the food truck.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah. I guess I could have a food truck if I wanted to make
you could make your own. That's perfect.
Well, Monica, thank you again so much for joining us for this episode of Continue Change. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. It was a pleasure to be here.
Woo! See ya.
Bye.